this conference was the first person to submit a speaker application, video, and everything because he wanted to be part of this. I was like, I never met him. We weren't connected on Facebook, so I just started looking him up and looking at what he was talking about. I was like, dude, I like this guy, and he's got great hair. I was like, Chris, take a look. Take a look at this dude here. And I got to tell you guys, he's one of the most interesting people to talk to, one of the most fun people that I've met in the last couple of days. And I know he's going to bring a hell of a lot of knowledge to you guys. So do me a favor. Make some noise. Play some music. Let's play some music. Make some noise. Oh! Get out of your seats. Get out of your seats. Clap your hands. Stand up. Stand up for Josh Mitchell, the Autodisrupter.
Touch this. Yeah, that's how we living, and you know, can't touch this. Look in my eyes.
Well, hello. So, I'm gonna make this very short and sweet. Stop thinking like a dealer. And I'm done. Kind of tell you a little about who I am. I am the BDC director at a company called Dan Cummins Chevrolet in Paris, Kentucky. Paris, Kentucky is a small town of about 10,000 people. And in 2011 is when I start there, we were selling about 130, 140 units a month. In 2014, we sold 6,124. And in 2015, right at 7,500 units. And 2016, we had a lofty goal of 10,000 cars. We didn't make it quite. We sold 9,500 units out of a city of 10,000 people. Yeah. So, do I have your attention? Yeah. So that's who I am. I'm not your typical car guy. I have, you know, my nice little undercut haircut. I wear shoes that really don't match each other. I'm not a suit and tie type of guy. I didn't grow up in the business. I grew up in the farming business in Kentucky. And so I'm not your typical guy. And so when I got into the industry, I realized how fucked it was because there was so many things wrong with it that I didn't agree with. And so what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk a little bit about the past. We're going to talk a little bit about, you know, why the customer hates us, also known the road to the sale, which was designed by us, for us, not the customer, what the customer really wants, and the create a process that works and learn that it's all about the experience. And so, just to tell you, we created this monster. It's not something that, you know, happened overnight. You know, most of the views in society about the car business is our fault, as Frank said. We screwed it all up by hiding information like rate, terms, appraised value. We spend 2 hours building value in a car that we're trying to sell, and when they want to know what it's worth, we act like it's our first fucking day. Leg, also known as the crutch of F&I. Pushy salesman. Inability to give information. No follow-up or too much follow-up. So let's talk about some stats about the car business. 6 out of 10 people say they want a hassle-free buying experience. 1 out of 5 say they would give up sex for a month than to go to a car dealership. 44% say they would give up social media for a month, and 29% say they would give up their cell phone for the weekend. That's saying a lot. So they freaking hate us. And so when you look at what the hell they want an easy process. They want transparency, or whatever the fuck that means. I know so many dealers talk about transparency, and how many in the room think you have a transparent process? Raise your hands. Wow. Not very many hands. And we talk about transparency so much, but we don't even know what it actually is. But we like to talk about how we're so transparent and we give all the information. They want a fair deal, not the cheapest deal. You don't have to give away the house to sell cars. Yeah, if you're in a competitive market, you have to be competitive. But I will tell you a story. We had an SS that they gave a nice little 20% off on it for the first half of the month. And the guy was 4 hours away from me. So we're not close. He calls me, we talk about his trade. He's trading in a 15 SS, which now he's screwed because they just knocked 20% off of brand new ones. And so we talk about that for a while. I'm very honest to the guy. And he calls me, he really wants it. And then he says, there's a dealership 45 minutes away from me that has knocked another $3,700 off of this deal. Are you going to do that for me? And I said, no. I said, you bitched about your trade. That guy's the reason why your trade is worth what it is. And guess what? He said, well, I'd like to go ahead and put a deposit then. So your price does not matter. Your zip code does not matter. People drive 3, 4, 5 hours away to get to our dealership. It doesn't matter how far you are. They'll get on a plane, they'll drive. And so when I hear dealers say, well, but I'm in a small town, I don't care. We're no longer competing with the dealership down the street. We're no longer dealing with the dealership that's in our state. We are now global. We have to start thinking that way. We ship Corvettes everywhere because we know that we can sell them at a better price and a better value and ship them for free for a customer. Plus we had 75 of them. And so you have to get out of that mindset. And so I talk about the Uber effect. You know, Uber versus taxis. Uber has blown up, Lyft has blown up because of several reasons. Why do we like Uber more than a taxi? Number one, price. We know how much it's going to be, but it's the ease of it. It's on my time and on my terms. If I want to go with an XL and be a baller and get me a nice big vehicle, I can. I know when they're going to show up. I know the price. And with taxis, you don't know what it's going to smell like. You at least know that with your Uber, it's going to be a nice looking car. And so it's about that whole experience. We all have these. And so it's at our fingertips. And so that's why Uber has taken over in so many areas, and the taxi business is plummeting now. Because we like this, and we like to be able to push a button and get a car. And so, the virtual showroom. How many of you are in the BDC? How many of you have a BDC? Okay. And if you don't, why? Do you treat your BDC like the stepchild or the ugly girls you put in the back, or the golden child? The golden child. See, I think for so many of us, they treat BDCs like they're glorified receptionists. And I'm sorry, we are not glorified receptionists. It is one of the single most important departments in your dealership. It is your first impression. And if it's a shitty impression, you're done. It doesn't matter if you have a manager call. It doesn't matter. You are done. And so you have to give them the tools to do it. You know, you have businesses like Carvana and Car Direct talking about, you know, now that people don't even have to go to a dealership to buy a car. They pick it out, they ship it to you. It's done. And yet, for most of us, we're like, well, I want to see him here. And your F&I guy's freaking out because he may have to sell some shit over the phone. He's like, I don't know what to do. But why aren't we there? Why wouldn't you want to sell a car where the customer's not having to come into your showroom, where you can do everything from paperwork to selling them a warranty to everything that's under the sun in the business? Why wouldn't you want that to happen? Because now your car with your logo on it, is 12 hours away from you. And people start understanding that, oh, well, they'll ship a car for me? Why wouldn't we want to do that? Our customers want that. Time kills all deals. Would you agree? And speed is power. With your BDC, the average lead response time was 45 minutes. If you respond to a lead in 45 minutes, you are forgotten. I'm already looking at shoes. I'm already gone. The other dealership might have beat you to it. And so speed is the most important thing that we have as an internet department, a BDC, as a dealership. Speed and delivering accurate information is the most important thing. The odds decrease 10 times after the first hour. So what do you need? You need quick, quality templates. Forget the automated bullshit and get quick, nice, written by real people and not an hour-long email that they have to scroll down to get whatever information they asked for. You need those quick, easy templates that you can send out within the first 3 to 5 minutes. You know, we have a policy when we get a lead, we are automatically calling that person if there's a phone number. We've got the template pulled up already, and we have a text message opt-in ready to rock and roll. Because you have to text your customers. So many dealerships, we send 28,000 text messages a month in the dealership, all through Dealer Socket. And so you have to text your customers. You have to understand, you'll find out where they want to go if you email them, call them, and text them. If they text you right back, that means text is right to go. If they call you or they answer it, then you're good. You know that phone's the best way. Email is still a way to communicate. I hate it. I fucking hate email. But you have to put it in there. With Dealer Socket, you have the ability to see if they've read the email, so you at least know. And so you have to make sure that you're putting those things in place for your customer to find out what they want to do and how they want to communicate and go with what they want you to do. And for the love of God, read the lead. So many of us get so into, I want to be first, and you don't read that they had 15 questions about the vehicle, and you send them all kinds of other garbage, and then he gets your email, and he's like, God damn it, he didn't even read the fucking lead. He didn't even read my questions. And then your credibility is gone. And so make sure that you're reading the lead, finding out what they've asked, making sure that you've answered every single question. And video. Video is a great touch. Elisa's going to talk about that. But video is so powerful when you're communicating with the customer. Because guess what? We've been talking about video in the automobile industry for probably, what, since 2013, 2012? 2010. It's before I was in here. In 2010. And yet none of us are doing it. None of us. And so you have to have the ability to send it's a personal touch. No one else is doing it. They will be surprised that they've actually got to see who's been emailing them, see who they're actually talking to. And you can't hide the bullshit when you're on a video. And it's all about giving information. You know, what kills me about when you have a BDC and as managers, you say, well, just get them in. I freaking hate that word. Just get them in. What do you think we've been trying to do? We've been trying to get them in. But when they want more information, when they want to know an interest rate, and we've got credit and we've submitted it over and we're like, I don't know what the interest rate, or I don't want to tell them the interest rate because maybe they'll shop me. That's what they're doing. That's why they submitted a lead, is because they're shopping. The moment that you give the information, you're not like all the others that won't give it. And even if you may be a little bit higher than they expect it, they'll go with you because you were trustworthy. Instead of hiding behind this I don't know atmosphere where your customer is just, you try to hide all the information, like what their vehicle's worth, what their interest rate is. It's not rocket science to find out what a vehicle's worth. Yeah, you have to see it, but they have every tool from KBB Instant Cash Offer to KBB to NADA. They already know what the vehicle's worth to a certain extent. They're just wanting to hear it from you. And if you're upfront with them, they'll understand if you're backing it. And with your showroom, how many of you have ever heard, welcome to Dan Cummins, are you here for the big sale? No. Asshole, I'm here for you to rip me off. At that point, you might as well get a 50-foot gorilla and a little army thing that floats around and throw a fucking circus. They don't believe in our big sale because we've been having them for so long, and they're the same deal that they were a week ago. And so I cannot understand why we would do that. You know, with us, we do everything with an information-based process. When we answer the phones, we say, Dan Cummins Internet Sales, this is Josh. What information can I provide for you today? When they come into the dealership, it's welcome to Dan Cummins. What information can I get for you today? It's all about information. If you give people enough information, they'll buy cars. If you hide information, you know, the old study was they spent 18 hours online and they went to 1.5 dealerships. You become that 0.5 if you don't give the information. And so when we talk about the sales process, go in the customer's pace. Don't sell me, show me. If I talk about safety, let's talk about safety. If you ask me questions as a consumer, like what's important to me, go with that. Don't spend 3 hours talking about the 10 airbags when all they care about is the freaking horsepower. They don't care how safe it is. They want to know how fast it's going to go. And if you have someone who is younger, who wants technology, talk about technology in the car. Understand that you just have to show the customer, not sell them, show them. And lose the pressure. High pressure sales does not work anymore. Our consumers are asking more from us. They're spending more time researching. And when you lose all the pressure and you just go in their pace and you become friends and you become trustworthy, you sell cars. When you try to slam it down and kill people and try to get the high gross of the day, you're done for. That's why the death of the car salesman is being talked about now. That's why commission sales is being talked about now to go into non-commission sales staff. It's our fault. Our consumers now want to hear that, non-commission sales, because that's what they're wanting. And so, and if you can, you know, I found this funny when I read this. Millennials want full disclosure. If they ask you for full disclosure, they want it, but we'll never read it. We want to know that you have full disclosure, but we're never ever going to read it. And so make sure that you're giving that. Be available, and you're a salesman, be available to your customer. Understand that you've got to answer your phone. You've got to be texting your customers. Don't let it go. Make sure that you're following up with them. Because it isn't about that deal. It's about the next deal. You have to continue to get referral business. And so, you know, to talk a little bit about social, 63% of millennials say they stay updated on brands through social media. 51% opinions on social influence their purchase decision. And so I was talking to a dealer not too long ago about their ad spend and what they were spending money on, and they told me they were spending $35,000 a month on billboards and newspaper and TV. And I said, okay, how many of you, and I'll ask you the question, how many of you actually watch live TV? Nobody. And so, and I was asking them all this, and they were, none of them raised their hand. And I said, guess what? Your customer isn't either. So happen if they are actually, and this is a great story from Gary Vaynerchuk. You know, if you're actually watching live TV and the remote falls down and you don't get up because that's too lazy, and so you're watching America's Top Model for 30 minutes, yet when a commercial comes on, you pick up this and you look at Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. And I'm sure I'm missing a few of them now. Your customers aren't looking at your TV advertisement. They're looking at their phone. You need to be where they are on Facebook and Instagram and building your brand off of that instead of spending all your money on traditional. It's funny because when I was talking to them, they were talking about billboard ads, and I was like, guys, no one's looking up. They're not even looking at the fucking road. They're looking at their phone. And so make sure that, you know, when you're spending your money and you're looking at advertising, that you're where your customers are, because they're on Facebook, they're on Twitter, they're on Instagram. That's where you need to be, and start focusing on your ad dollars on moving towards that, because a lot of people are not going to be doing this. A lot of people are going to traditionally go their traditional route, and they're going to be there, be first when it comes to that, because it's an easy platform before everything gets noisy. If you're the first one there, you will succeed at it. And so, you know, I know with, you know, the stop thinking like a dealer mentality is kind of difficult, and everybody asks me why, and it's, the whole thing comes down to this. I hear excuses like, we've always done it this way, so you've always sucked. Is that where we're going to leave it? This business is in a boom, but it won't last forever. We've been in an economic boom for 8 years. Typically, it's a 5-year period. And so we're in for an economic turn in the market. It's going to happen. Be the person who's in front now. Build your business to where your customer wants to be, so when that happens, you're not affected by it. Or stay the way you are and let people like my dealership take your business and your market share, because it is going to happen, and you're either going to be prepared or you're going to fail. Thank you guys so very much. Appreciate it.
My man, Josh Mitchell. Listen, I gotta tell you right now, my favorite thing he said, and I love that music too right there. My favorite thing he said was this, because we hear it all the time. How many of you have had someone at your dealership say these words? We've always done it that way. If so, say, I have. Oh my God, so you've always sucked. That was amazing. I love you, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you for being part of this.
Right there to say it. That was looking for trouble. Just the industry, some people.
Well, you're trying to, right?
Oh yeah.